I did another component of Standard 4. This component is 4.4b, and in my own words, it means the administrator will use research and evidence to develop strategies to improve coordination and cohesiveness among curriculum, instruction, and assessment practices. The activity that I used for this standard was the slideshow, What is the Best Way to Observe a Teacher? This slideshow summarizes several articles on teacher evaluations and then discusses different ways to observe teachers other than formal assessments. It also discusses what evaluation tools we use here at Russell Child Development Center. I chose this activity because it is important to be able to support teachers through observations and with feedback, and it's important to know the best way to do that. It is also important to give teachers specific feedback so they can become better teachers that provide instruction that enhances students' learning. This activity correlates with the standard because the standard gives some different ways to support and evaluate teachers so they can improve instruction for their students. This activity was completed on September 26, 2021 and took 5 hours to complete. The impact that it has on me immediately is this information helped me to learn strategies to use before, during, and after the evaluation process. I also like the idea of peer observations as an evaluation tool. I have not used that before, but I think it could be a great tool to help with partnership, collaboration, and it's something I would like to look into in the future. As I reflect on this as an administrator, I think having information about ways to improve instruction and curriculum are important. The teacher plays one of the most important roles in instruction, and it's my responsibility to support my teachers and staff so they can deliver quality instruction. This means giving them opportunities to reflect and learn. One thing I would like to try at some point is doing peer observations like I had mentioned before. I would also really like to incorporate videoing in the evaluation process. I think that when a teacher can see what they are doing, it is a great learning opportunity, and many teachers will be able to come up with strategies just by being able to see what they're doing themselves. I think it's a great opportunity. The next standard is Standard 5, Community and External Leadership. The component that I chose for this standard was 5.2a. In my own words, the administrator will engage with community members, partners, and other stakeholders around shared goals. The name of this activity is just sharing information and collaboration at community events. Russell Child Development Center is a little bit different than a elementary school in that we are a nonprofit organization and we do provide services to a variety of communities. So we participate in many community events such as health fairs, resource roundups, community cookouts, etc. Another piece of Russell Child Development Center is that we apply for grants through the United Way. And we have two United Way, of Finney County United Way, and we have Seward County United Way. And for those funds, we have to commit to so many hours of community service with organization with the United Way and different things that they do in the community. So I chose this activity because it's important to be visible in the community and to partner with organizations in the community to help support shared goals. This activity correlates to the standard because I'm actively participating in the community events around shared goals and developing partnerships with other community organizations. This activity, the pictures of the activities occurred in many different times. One of them was the Duck Race Festival, which happened in September 8th, 2022, and that was with the United Way, and that was part of earning our hours for that grant. Another one was a community outreach event, just sharing information at another community event for the United Way, and then a community resource roundup that actually just took place last month, and it was a great opportunity to be with other partners in the community and just share information with families. In the hours for those events, and actually it probably adds up to 3 or 4 times this, but I put down 25 hours for this. The impact it has is it's important to make community partnerships and to be visible in the community as you are working on shared goals. In my case, with RCDC being a nonprofit organization, it's important to make connections in the community because those connections could lead to donations and funds for our organization. And as I reflect as an administrator, partnerships are so important in everything that we do, and being able to work together towards common goals is important. We are in many different communities, and it's important to be present in those communities so people see that we are there, and we are there to support the families and community partners. We continue to have booths at a variety of community events throughout the year. We can share information about early intervention with the community, but we also are there to to support other community partners. So it's just a great way to be out in the community, to show support, and to share our information about what we do with everyone in the community. Standard 6, Operation Management. The component I chose for this standard was 6.2C, and in my words, the administrator will find resources that support the needs of the school. This activity, we created a new credit card policy for our CDC. This is a policy that all employees have to sign and look over each year. I selected this activity because it's a new policy that we added after I took the building finance class. We determined that we didn't have anything in writing for our new staff and felt like it was a very important piece of information to have and a resource to have for staff to refer back to when needed. This activity correlates with this standard because the administration looked at the needs of the staff and organization and developed a resource that will be able to refer back to for operation and management needs. It was completed on June 9th, 2022. It took about 6 hours to complete as we met as a group and then put it into our staff handbook. How does this impact me? As an administrator, it's important to identify needs and resources that will support staff in the classroom and out of the classroom. A credit card policy doesn't seem like a big thing, but when it is misused, it can turn into a very big problem. So as I reflect as an administrator, we spend a lot of time going through the needs and old policies to develop our new credit card policy. It is important for all staff and administrators to know how the credit card policy works and what steps you need to go through to use the policy. This is something we are going to start going over with staff every year and have staff sign the policy every year when we do our new staff orientation, and like I said, at our yearly meetings and at our yearly information where we gather all the information and watch videos about like bloodborne pathogens and FERPA. We'll also be talking about credit card policy. In Standard 7, I chose component 7.1a, and in my words, administrator will evaluate staff vacancies and hire staff as needed. So the name of this activity is just job fairs. We participate in many job fairs throughout the year, depending on our needs for our staff. Staff, teachers, SLPs, OTs, PTs, nurses, and social workers. So I've been to a variety of different job fairs. I chose this because hiring staff is a huge part of being an administrator, and finding the right staff is very important. This activity correlates with the standard because going to job fairs is an important part of finding potential staff for positions that are needed. Some of the job fairs that we attended in the last year, we went to the KU Job Fair in October 28, 2021, WSU Job Fair March 23rd, 2022, and then the FS, the Fort Hays State University SLP Job Fair, November 11th of this year. 25 hours were put in this year for job fairs, traveling and doing the job fair. The impact that it has on me as staff has a large impact on your school, and it's important to find the right staff for the needs of your school and the students. There's a real shortage right now for teachers, SLPs, and OTs in our area, so getting out and getting to as many colleges as we can is really, really important, and making those connections is really important. As I reflect on this as an administrator, it is my job to evaluate our needs and find staff that can sufficiently meet those needs. This means getting our job postings out to colleges and to different communities. This also means attending job fairs and meeting faculty to make connections with different programs. I will continue to attend job fairs as we continue to have job openings. I chose another component of Standard 7. I chose 7.2a. The school leader will use research to design and cultivate a collaborative professional culture. In my own words, the administrator will develop a professional culture by using research as a guide. And this activity was the Powtoons Parent Right video. This video describes parent rights for special education, who can sign paperwork, and when parent rights need to be available to parents. I chose this activity because it is important to understand special education rights and parent rights. All staff need to understand these rights, not just special education teachers. This activity correlates to this standard because it is the administration's responsibility to build all staff's capacity to understand parent rights for all students and to develop a professional culture that engages parents and their input. This was completed on June 14th, 2022, and took 3 hours. How does it impact me? It is very important for administrators to understand parent rights, especially in special education, because funding can rely on compliance with policies and paperwork. And as I reflect as an administrator, our organization is very familiar with parent rights in special education because our CDC Part C is special education. Making sure that staff understands what they're giving parents is important. It is also important for them to be able to explain all the paperwork and the rights to parents. Going over parent rights has become a part of our onboarding and new staff training. Everyone needs to understand the importance of parent rights and how to communicate those parent rights to the parents. My last component of Standard 7 that I chose was 7.48. The school leader will observe teaching in a variety of classrooms. And in my own words, the administrator will observe teachers in a variety of ways in different classrooms. So this activity is just teacher evaluation and evaluation forms that we're using. We evaluate all staff yearly in many different settings. I chose this activity because doing evaluations is an important ongoing part of being an administrator, and it's important to be able to take that information and offer support to teachers as they need it. This activity correlates to this standard because I do a variety of teaching evaluations throughout the year, and it's ongoing throughout the year. I have 22 staff members that consist of teachers, SLPs, OTs, PTs, social workers, and nurses, and translators, and I evaluate all of that staff. Teacher evaluations are very important for the success of students and teachers. It is important to be able to offer support to teachers that need extra support and encourage teachers to continue to grow. It is important to have documentation from evaluations so that when and if a problem arises or a teacher isn't making the progress that is expected, it can be addressed. And as an administrator, like I said before, as I reflect, I have 22 staff members. I go on a home visit with my providers, then meet with them after that for at least an hour to go over their evaluation and talk about strategies to help support them, things they're doing well, things that I could help support them to do better. It's really important. Really, really important. One thing that I would really like to incorporate into my evaluation process is doing videos. And I'm not sure how I would like to do that. Either I would video a visit that I go on and then have the teacher or provider watch it and then come back and let's talk about it, or maybe have them record a visit that they'd like to look at. But I think watching yourself can be a very powerful tool in reflection, and I find that staff are a lot harder on themselves than I would ever be, and they come up with some great strategies for improvement. And sometimes you can say and talk about things that you see, but teachers and providers may not see it until they look at themselves doing it. So it can be a huge tool. Thank you for listening to my elementary activities. Have a great day.